When we know our good feeling, we are also able to understand what feels good for us in a sexual relationship. But it's also important that it feels good not only for you, but also for your partner. And this is why consent is so important. But what does consent mean? Consent means a voluntary, specific, and unambiguous expression of will by which a person who has been asked for something after receiving information accepts the request. So what does that mean then? Basically, it means that you need to give your permission to any sexual act or relationship. Let us break down the definition to really understand what it means. So, any sexual act should be voluntary. That is, you have completely voluntarily chosen to give your consent without feeling forced to, or being threatened or subjected to violence or other pressure that made you choose to do something even if you really did not want to. Specific means that your consent is given in a specific situation, so it only applies here and now. So I can give my consent now, and now, and now, and now, and now, but not now. And then my consent no longer applies. So it only applies as long as I give it, and is specific to when I give it, while I give it, until I no longer give it. Unambiguous means that my consent must be given clearly. That is, there should be no doubt about whether I want to or not. This means that I need to say or show that I really want to do something. So if I'm unsure, if I say maybe, or if I say no, it's a no. The only thing that means yes is a yes. So in order to say yes, we need to first be asked a question, right? So this is what it means by which a person who has asked for something. Meaning that you need to be asked if you would like to, so that you can give your consent. When being asked, you also need to receive sufficient information to be able to actually answer. Which means that the question that was asked also needs to give me all information about what the question involves, so that I can make a conscious, informed choice. So, for example, if a person I hang out with asks if we should go home and watch a film, and when we are at the person's home watching the film, they move closer and eventually kiss me, and I don't want that at all, then I have every right to stop it, because what I have said yes to is to watching a film, not anything else. So when I was asked the question, I had not gotten all the information about what the person really wanted, and therefore my consent does not apply. So when being asked and given all information, then you give your consent by accepting the request, which simply means that I clearly answer the question that was asked. I can say yes or answer through my body language as long as it's a clear yes. So I am the only person in the world who decides what I want to do with my body and my life. No one can force me to do something I do not want. And remember that my consent is valid only as long as I give it, and that at any time I have the right to take it back and cancel it. No one has the right then to continue to do something to me that I do not want. I have the right to change my mind when I want. So a yes is a yes, a no is a no, and anything but a yes is a no. Maybe is not a yes, it's a no. It's so simple, but of course it's also difficult. How do we go about asking if someone wants to? How can we tell that we ourselves want to? How can we say no? How do we handle a no? Consent is always an ongoing issue, and if we don't raise it with young people, it will be even harder for them to communicate around it. And it is very important that we tell young people that it is always okay to change their mind. What starts out as a yes can become a no, and that's totally okay. You have no obligation to continue having sex with someone if you first said yes, but then you change how you feel. A no is always a no. It is therefore important that consent exists before and during the entire time you're having sex, so that it feels good for you. In order to have good sex, we also need to have safe sex, protected sex. We need to have sex with contraceptives that protect against sexually transmitted diseases, STDs, and unwanted pregnancies. The safest thing to use is a condom. There are both female and male condoms, and they can often be obtained free of charge at youth or health clinics, at the school nurse, or at your midwife's office. If you don't use a condom, it is very important that you test yourself for STDs, because many sexually transmitted diseases do not cause noticeable symptoms. And if you have an STD for a long time, you can risk becoming sterile, so losing your ability to become pregnant. And just like the good feeling and consent, you need protection before and during the entire sexual intercourse. Before, because if you haven't thought about it before, you might end up in a situation where you very much want to have sex, but have no protection at hand. Because that's when you need the protection. And just like everything we've talked about this training, if we do not talk about the importance of having a condom, then young people will not use it. So let's talk about how to use them, where to find them, why one should even bother using them, and also how one can talk about and require that their partner uses protection. Research shows that young people with high self-esteem and who feel better psychologically and emotionally are more likely to have safer sex. So remember that you are already making a big difference just by boosting your player's self-esteem.